Alright, it is Thursday the 16th, and we are heading out for our next hiking trip. I hiked the mall yesterday, and that was pretty good. And I don't know why we're cruising along here at about 10 miles an hour slower than the speed limit. Pretty annoying. We're heading up here to the hills, and hopefully we're going to have a good day. Alright, here we are up here at the cemetery, and it is a beautiful sunny day. We're right here in the middle where the flagpole is. Straight down that way is where my family plot is at. We got the Sexton tool house there. So today's video is going to be about the rock quarry road that I already did a video on. And that was the last video I did up here. I did that sometime in January. So I'll put a link in the description or up here somewhere to that first video if you want to watch that and find out what's going on. And we're just going to continue on that little rock quarry road trek. Not all the way to the rock quarry, it's a long ways away, and that's on private property now. So the car is up there, and we're going down here to where the rock quarry road starts. Yeah, I'm not able to keep up a very good pace right now. This is fairly steep conditions, but it feels good, and I'm really blessed that I'm able to get out here and do this. A lot of people younger than me just can't do that at all. And quickly, while I stop here to kind of catch my breath, I'm going to be doing a series of videos over there. There's a highway down there, of course, and on the other side of that highway is a creek that flowed right beside our house, the little house down the road. We're down at the end of the hill. Gold mining area, and much farther up in the hills as well. And there was a small narrow gauge railroad that ran on the other side of the highway along the creek there. And you might be able to see what looks like a road or a trail running along the mountain over there. And that is an actual water ditch trail that they used to bring water from up in the mountains down to the town in the late 1800s. So those videos will be coming in the pretty near future. Oh, huffing and puffing, that's what my name should be changed to. Oh, I'm really huffing and puffing. We reached the end of the cemetery. So the rock quarry road turned here. Oh. Big house back there now. Was never here when this was our playground back in the 1970s. And now we come to where the rock quarry road made a left turn. I don't believe it originally went that way. I think it continued on straight because the rock quarry is a mile plus in that direction. But the road went this way, and it's been changed slightly since the 1970s because this big house, and they fenced off. They put a fence through the original trail. You can probably see how it went, just straight on, and now it has to curve. Well, since I was up here in January, somebody has been cutting trees up here. Look at that. And I would imagine legally, but they cut quite a bit of trees. Okay, there's where I just come from, and this is where the last video ended. I was talking about this tree, and now on September 2nd, 1978, my younger brother and I came up here, and we had a friend's .22 caliber rifle, and we shot into this tree a couple times. Of course, there was no homes up in this area at that time, but it was probably still illegal. So the trail originally went down, and it also went up this way, but of course you can't go up that way anymore because it will run into private property. So what I didn't tell you about this story on September 2nd, 1978, when my younger brother and I were up here shooting the .22, is that gun and a shotgun, I believe it's a 12 gauge, belonged to a high school friend of mine, and we were just getting ready to start high school in 4 days. And he had left the guns at my house. And that morning, early that morning, he had taken off to go over to the coast, the same place where I went to in September on my vacation. But he crashed in the Smith River Canyon and was killed. Here's a picture. While my little brother and I were up here that morning, must have been 8 or 9 in the morning, the phone call came through to the house, to my parents' house down there, that Jeff had been killed in a car wreck. So when we got back to the house with the guns, that's when we found out that he had been killed. He was only 18 years old, same age as me. So that's probably why I remember so well standing here shooting the 22. There's a few what looked like 22 bullet holes in it from a 22. But I can't say for sure. That was September 2nd, 1978. Okay, so from here, we're going to continue on down this trail. And this trail will take us eventually back into the cemetery. But I'm just curious to see what it's going to look like. It looks like it's pretty well traveled. And again, there were no houses up here at all. This was all just wonderful wilderness. The whole area has lots of little diggings like this here. That has been there always since we were little kids coming up here and playing, because it was a gold mining area. Okay, that's the way we just came, and that trail remains largely intact the way it was in the 1970s. We rode bicycles up here a lot, and now we have a little bit of a fork. I have studied this area on Google Earth. It used to go for miles and miles and miles, but there are now probably 15 or more houses just off in that direction, and I can see a no trespassing sign right through the trees there. So I know there's houses up in here and along there. So this is a roadway here that was kind of like a fire break road that was pretty defined when we first started coming up here as kids in the 1970s. And it's a pretty wide trail now. And it went all the way to the next street area. And yeah, I can see a big fence over there. I'm surprised there isn't more houses. It just seems kind of a shame that what used to be our playground is now disappearing. Alright, we got some old fence that I'd kind of forgotten about. If I remember right, the fence ran across the trail up there and ran for a lot of distance way back in the 1970s, and here looks like maybe about the only remains of an old fence. Well, it's a little muddy out here, and I'm walking pretty darn slow. And here's more of that fence I just noticed. Look at that. And anyway, I'm walking pretty slow, so I'm not going to end up on the ground. I think that'll be the worst of it right there. So the trail continues on, and we can already see the cemetery up there. So we're almost back. So that's going to do it for this video. I am feeling pretty tired, and I got to drink a bunch of water. And hopefully I can come back out tomorrow and hike, maybe up here. We'll see how things go. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.